Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Brakathum to the hopefully elect. And I just want to do a quick video, man. Because hey, I'm gonna put it like this. The greatest underdog story of all time, man. And basically against all odds, because the scriptures talk about how the Lord, he was gonna work in our days. You know, he was basically gonna do something miraculous, something spectacular. And even more so, when it comes to this truth, and part of that miraculous work being that, again, you know, it was prophesied that the nation of Israel, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, at some point in time, we would be completely discontinued from our heritage. We will be completely separated. All right, there was going to come a time when the wisdom and understanding of who we were, right? All that, basically, the Lord, he was going to wipe away our memory of these things. All right. And then the beautiful thing about it is the Lord, he will bring it back to our remembrance, you know. So with that being said, well, I'm not even going to say where we started, but well, I'll say from the transatlantic slave trade, because that's when pretty much, you know, we've been beat with that Christianity nonsense. All right. You know, that's when, you know, going into Cesare Borgia and, you know, all these things pertaining to Christianity. This is when basically when the so-called white man put his imprint in us. All right. And with that being said, we were, like I said, the Lord, he would completely take away our remembrance, our memory. He will wipe our memory. Right. And that more so started during the transatlantic slave trade, when we came over here to the Americas. All right. Because even in other captivities, we didn't, you know, for the most part, in other captivities, we had knowledge of who we were and whatnot. But when we came over here to the Americas, we had absolutely no knowledge of who we were. So that's a part of, like I said, the work that the Lord was going to work, a part of the miraculous thing that the Lord was going to do. Because against all odds, you see, the nation of Israel is back on the rise. All right, against all odds. And like I said, the ultimate underdog story. Start with the elect, because it's easy to, you know, it's easy for the Lord to, you know, show forth his magnificence, all right, and show forth his almighty power. It's easy for him to do these things, you know. But how much more, like I said, we came over here with nothing, not knowing anything about who we were, we didn't know anything. All right. But with that being said, look where we are as a people today. Like I said, we're hey, Jacob's still waking up. All right. It all started with that mustard seed, and, you know, which, if you know about a mustard seed, man, that's one of the smallest seeds, but it grows into one of the biggest. It grows into one of the biggest trees, man. And again, start more so with Abba Bivens, who was John the Baptist, who was also Elijah the prophet. All right, that mustard seed. And again, just look where the truth is at today, against all odds. But again, even more so, the elect. All right, because like I said, it's easy for the Lord to show forth his power, his magnificence, his might. All right, but the scriptures talk about how the Lord, he pretty much, when you understand how the Lord, how he operates, that's you understand that's not how he operates. showing forth his. Now, of course, you do have examples in the Bible where the Lord just, you do have those examples, but for the most part, that's not how the Lord operates. And I just got two examples. All right. Just through the Spirit, I want to, because again, this thing of ours, man, this is the greatest from rags to riches. Make sure I said that right. The greatest from rags to riches ever. And like I said, the greatest underdog story of all time ever told. Because look when we came over here, look where we started. And at the end of this, hey, when we get Lord's will, when we get into those new bodies and, the kingdom is established, hey, it's going to be beautiful. So, because, like I said, it's easy for the Lord to magnify his power. It's easy for him to do that. But the Lord, he can make something out of nothing. And that's kind of what I want to touch on in this quick lesson, man. So I'm going to get this first in Genesis chapter 14. Genesis chapter 14. I'm going to start at verse 1. And Salaki, I'm going to kind of butcher these names. Genesis 14:1, it says, and it came to pass in the days of Amraphel, king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elasar, Shedor Lamor, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of nations, that these made war with Bera, king of Sodom, and with Bershah, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admah, and Shemabir, king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, which is Zoar. All these joined together in the vale of Shittim, which is the salt sea. 12 years they served Shedor Lamor, and in the 13th year they rebelled. In the 14th year came Shedor Laomor and the kings that were with him, and smote the Rephaims in Ashtaroth, Karnaim, and the Zuzims in Ham, and the Emims in Shaveh, Karathaim, and the Horites in their Mount Seir unto El Paran, which is by the wilderness. And they returned and came to En Mishpat, which is Kadesh, and smote all the country of the Amalekites, and also the Amorites that dwelt in Hazezon Tamar. And there went out the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, the same is Zoar, and they joined battle with them in the vale of Shittim. So let me just jump down to the point. Because basically, these kings, they basically, long story short, conquered. Well, let me just read it. Let me just read on down. I'm going to jump down to verse 11. It says, and they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their victuals and went their way. So basically, like I said, these kings, they took over these lands and whatnot. All right. And part of that possession was Lot. All right. Which was the relative of Abraham. It says, and they took Lot, Abram's brother's son, and dwelt in Sodom and all his goods, and departed. And there came one that had escaped and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol, the brother of Anir, and these were confederate with Abram. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed He armed his trained servants, born in his own house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan. And he divided himself against them, and he and his servants by night, and smote them, and pursued them unto Hobah, which is on the left hand of Damascus. And he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot and his goods, and the women also, and the people. And the king of Sodom went out to meet after him, after his return from the slaughter of Shedor Laomer, and of the kings that were with him at the valley of Shaveh, which is the king's dale. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High Power. So basically, the point, because like I said, it's easy for the Lord to make something out of nothing. All right, because one thing about the Heavenly Father, he doesn't deal a lot with, like I said, when you come against, and this is why, more importantly, our faith has to be with Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, because let's say, you're at the crib, man, and 5,000 troops, martial law troops, surround your house. All right, it's nothing for the Lord to make a situation out of that. It's nothing to the Lord. You see, he can easily, like Yahweh Shai said it, call down a legion of angels. The Lord can easily do that. 5,000, let's just say 5,000 angels against those 5,000 martial law troops. It's easy for the Lord to do that. You see? But reading back up in verse 14, it says, and when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his own house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan. So that's a relatively small number. All right, I'm sure compared to these kings and what they had, 318 men. All right, that's a relatively small number. You see, and like I said, against all odds, all right, hey, the Lord came through. All right, because in any event, in any situation like that, hey, we know it's not of us. Hey, like I said, going back to the example that I used with the 5,000 martial law troops, right? Hey, who's to say that brother gets spiritual power? It's easy for the Lord to lift up that standard in that moment, and guess what? He's not going to credit it to himself. You best believe that's a man of the Lord, and he's going to give credit to Yahweh Shema Shai, as King David did. The things that King David was doing, man. Listen, right? The things that King David was doing, man. Listen, man. We can't wait to hear those stories in the kingdom, man. But with all that being said, King David never boasted in himself. He understood the source of his power. You see, but this is just an example of how, hey, that underdog, man. Because when it comes to the elect, that's a very, very small number. That's a very small number, man. Like I said, where we started, ever since the transatlantic slave trade, up until now, and even more so up until the kingdom, right? That's the ultimate underdog story, man. The greatest from rags to riches, right? But again, look where it started and look where it's going to end up. So hey, and again, that's the point. The Lord, he doesn't have to, like I often use the example with LeBron James. The Lord can easily use someone like a LeBron James to teach this truth. You would have, probably the elect would be sealed overnight. But that's not how the Lord operates. All right. He chooses the base things. Like I said, he can make something out of nothing. That's how the Lord operates. You see, because one of the misconceptions with people, and this is why the men of the Lord, the real men of the Lord, aren't accepted in the society, because people's perception of how the men of the Lord look, right, has been completely tainted. You see, because the truth of the matter is, listen, a lot of brothers, don't have eloquent, speaking and whatnot. Some brothers, they're a little overweight. Brothers deal with all type of physical infirmities, right? And hey, brothers, for the most part, we all have jobs, right? We have, regular business that we tend to on our in our personal lives. You see, but the people's perspective or perception of how a man of the Lord is supposed to be, how he's supposed to look, how he's supposed to act, it's not going to be a three-piece tuxedo suit or whatever. All right. The men of the Lord, they don't go to the clouds and, disappear until, it's time to prophesy or whatever. No, man, the men of the Lord, for the most part, they're regular men. They work, they have jobs. Like I said, the real men of the Lord, all right, they have, physical infirmities, all type of stuff. You see? And that's who the Lord deals with. You see? Because like I said, it's easy for the Lord to deal with someone like a LeBron James or Floyd Mayweather. It's easy for the Lord to do, But look where look where this ever since Abba Bivin came on the scene and up until the point that we're at now, all right, look at where this truth has gotten. And the Lord didn't use, like I said, he didn't use these LeBron James and whatnot, these people of high stature in the society, So when it comes to the whole big fancy scene and big numbers and stuff like that, for the most part, that's not how he operates. Now, don't get me wrong, because when the Lord when he comes, he's gonna put on a show. Believe that. He's gonna show out. All right. But I'm gonna read this also in Judges chapter 7. I'll start at verse 1. It says, Then Jerubbaal, who is Gideon, and all the people that were with him rose up early and pitched beside the wall of Harod, so that the host of the Midianites were on the north side of them, by the hill of Moreh in the valley. And the Lord said unto Gideon, The people that are with thee are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands, lest Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, Mine own hand have saved me. So you see, that's another thing, all right, with great numbers. And in great numbers, Jake, man, they were boasting themselves. But no, man, they were boasting themselves and not give credit to the Most High. So verse 2 again, and the Lord said unto Gideon, The people that are with thee are too many for me to give the Midianites. Because like I said, on another note, ultimately it should go back to faith. All right. Because like I said, against all odds, right? Ultimately we need to have faith in Yahweh Shem Shah. Don't worry about numbers. All right. Don't worry about numbers, because hey, what does the scriptures tell you? It'd be more. I'm gonna get that real quick. Because you got to understand the power that we fight for. All right. But even more so, the power that fights for us, the power that fights with us. So I'm going to find that scripture real quick. Second Kings chapter 6, verse 16. Yeah, I'll be in there. I'm doing the video. I'll be in there. Second Kings 6 and 16. I started verse 15. 2 Kings 6 and 15. And when the servant of the man of God was risen early and gone forth, behold, an host compassed the city both with horses and chariots, and his servant said unto him, Alas, my master, how shall we do? Because, like I said, don't worry about the numbers, right? You could be, compassed about, whatever the case may be, outnumbered, whatever the case may be. Don't worry about the numbers. Don't worry about none of that. Have faith, right? Because again, ultimately, that's what it should boil down to, faith. It says, and his servant said unto him, alas, my master, how shall we do? And he answered, fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them. You see? Because again, the power that we fight for, who's fighting for us, right? Hey, with the Lord on our side, who can top us, man? Who what can top that? We're talking about the Lord of hosts, the Lord of armies, man. I'm gonna get this in Exodus chapter 14 and verse 14. It says, the Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. So don't worry about it, man. Hey, again, the power that the power that we deal with, man. Hey, and this is the thing, because people seem to have forgotten, right? They seem to have forgotten, right? But hey, this is why the men of the Lord, they've been basically ushering in Yahweh's second return. So, the men of the Lord have been ushering in and trying to introduce the world to Yahweh. And like I said, because people's false perception on how the men of the Lord are supposed to be and so on and so forth, this is why the men of the Lord in this society, man, they're not accepted. But that's all right. All right, because that's how the Lord wants it. That's how the Lord operates. You see, like I said, man, hey, the greatest underdog story ever told. These people, man, they have us out. They count us out, man. They don't. What does the scriptures say, man? Scriptures talk about how, old nation not desired. You see, man, these people ain't banking on us, man. Because if they did, then hey, the men of the Lord would be accepted everywhere. But again, that's not how the Lord wants it. That's not how he operates. Hell, Yahweh himself was rejected. And even more so by his own people at that. So, hey, it's all good, man. I've been saying it lately. Hey, our time is coming, Lord's will. Our time is coming. The Lord's going to show the world who we are, man. He's going to manifest his men to the world. You see? But going back to Judges 7:1 again, or verse 2, or verse 3, Slakia, verse 3, Judges 7:3. Now therefore go to, proclaim in the ears of the people, saying, whosoever is fearful and afraid, let him return and depart early from the Mount Gilead. And there returned of the people 22,000, and there remained 10,000. Right? So hey, the numbers dropped, right? 20 and 2,000, it dropped to 10,000, right? It says, and the Lord said unto Gideon, the people are yet too many. Bring them down unto the water, and I will try them for thee there. And it shall be that of whom I say unto thee, this shall go with thee, the same shall go with thee, and of whomsoever I say unto thee, this shall not go with thee, the same shall not go. So he brought down the people. Unto the water, and the Lord said unto Gideon, everyone that lappeth of the water with his tongue as a dog lappeth, him shalt thou set by himself. Likewise, everyone that boweth down upon his knees to drink, and the number of them that lapped, putting their hand to their mouth, were 300 men, and all the rest of the people bowed down upon their knees to drink water. So you see how the Spirit set that up, right? It went from 22,000 to what was that, 10,000, right? And from there to 10,000, all the way, that number dropped all the way down to what was it? 300 men. You see? And from there, again, the Lord, he came through. Because again, the Lord doesn't need, he doesn't need a big numbers, and he doesn't need all that. You see, this is another example of the underdogs, man. The Lord creating something out of nothing, so to say. Because again, 300 From 22,000 to all the way on down to 300, man. That's a very low number, man. You know, that's a very relatively low number, and again, especially compared to, we're talking about armies now. You know, fighting against armies. You know, but what is that to the Lord, man? That's nothing to the Lord. You know, and this again, man, because we have to have this mindset, man. You know, again, against all odds, man. Let me get this real quick. I think that's First Corinthians. Because in times like that, when, you know, hey, you know, you're feeling down and out, and, you know, so on and so forth. This is why we're supposed to call on you. How about your shot? When all hell breaks loose out here, and it's, you know, you might get trapped up, you know, locked up in a concentration camp, or whatever the case may be, you know, and it don't look good, right? All odds are stacked against you. Hey, this is why you're supposed to call on you. How about your shot? I'm going to read this in 2 Corinthians 12:9. And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. So you see, in our moment of weakness, in our moment of down and out, in our moment of, you know, it's just, you know, Lord, I can't do it anymore. Lord, how am I, like, you, when you read about Ezra, man, you know, when Ezra is like, hey, man, who's going to deliver me in that day? You know, because that's how it's going to be for a lot of us, man. It's going to look like, man, shit, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this one. And we experience stuff like that now, you know, looking back on certain things that you were tripping about in the past, you know, you were, you know, we were kind of bugging out, right? But looking back on it, you're like, man, what the hell was I thinking? You know, Lord, you know, because, hey, it's nothing for the Lord, man. What may appear to be hard and difficult for us, it's nothing for the Lord, man. It's nothing for the Lord to, you know, come through. You see? Let me see if I can find this real quick. Isaiah 59:1, it says, behold, the Lord's hand is not shortened that it cannot save, neither his ear heavy that it cannot hear. So in the time of trouble, in the time of, again, all odds being stacked against you, right? In any event, hey, it's, you know, like I said, what may appear to be difficult for you, all right, it's nothing for the Lord, man. His arm is not too short that he can't save, man. It's nothing for the Lord, man. It's nothing. In the time of famine, it's nothing for the Lord to you know, provide you with food. You know, it's nothing for the Lord to lift up a stand. It's nothing for the Lord, man. That's light work to the Lord, you know. And even more so, man, when it comes to this truth, man, and again, where it started and where it's going to end up, all right, eventually, right? Hey, man, you know, the greatest underdog story of all time, you know, because again, when it comes to the elect, that's a small number, man, and even with the 144,000, that's an even smaller number, you know. But this is who the Lord has called, and He's raising up. All right, you know, and this is who the Lord is dealing with today, and this is through this relatively small number. All right, the Lord, in a way, creating something out of nothing, right? Against all odds, man. You see. Let me see if I can find this one real quick. Romans chapter 4, verse 18. Who against hope believed in hope that he might become the father of many nations, according to that which was spoken, so shall thy seed be. So against all odds, man, right? Because it said who against hope believed in hope. So you see, against all odds, like I said, hey, all odds are stacked against us. You know, waking up. All odds are stacked against us waking up and getting His truth. But that's nothing to the Lord, man. You know, that's nothing to the Lord. to put his spirit on a man, all right, to plant that mustard seed. And again, look where the truth is at today. You see? So, just quick video, man. I hope and pray this was edifying, giving all praises to Yahweh Shema Shai, double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone. Yahweh Shema Shai, brought a thumb to the hopefully elect. Lord's willing, until next time, shalom.